Hi, my name is Tara Kachaturoff, and I'm the host of Michigan Entrepreneur, where we feature businesses from startup to stellar. Today I have as my special guest, Teresa Kulczycki, who is the owner of An Acre in the City. Welcome to the program.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Well, I'm really excited to talk to you today because we are going to talk about your career, your business as a travel blogger, which is really exciting. But before we step into that, why don't you tell us a little bit about your background and what brought you to blogging about travel?
Growing up, we spent a lot of summers traveling to campgrounds throughout the state. And I remember going from Algonac, where you can see the freighters floating by, and hiking in the marshlands, and then going to Hartwick Pines and seeing the big old forest, and then learning about the lumber industry, and then going up to the UP to Fayette State Park, which is a ghost town. And there's just so much diverse landscape across the state. It's amazing. And then when you think about it, it's like, what's beyond that? What do other states have? So that kind of got me really interested to see what was out there across the whole country.
And I've lived in Michigan for a long time, and I still haven't seen most of it, and I've only been in the UP once.
That's a shame. That's a shame.
I know. It's like going across that bridge was like a lot, kind of scary. I don't know if I ever want to do that again, but
it's not that bad.
It feels bad. But anyway, so by day you're an engineer, right? Why don't you tell us a little bit about that? And
Sure. Yeah, so by day I'm a civil engineer. I mostly work on CAD, and I develop subdivisions for the most part. I do some other development stuff also, but I'm the person that would design the roadways or the utilities that go under the roads.
Oh, okay. So it has to do with land, traveling to different lands, working
Sure.
on the land. So yeah, so I always look for how do things relate? How do things relate? All right. So so when did you start actually blogging about travel? How many years have you been doing that?
Originally, I started blogging probably in 2012, and that was more just for family and friends to kind of see where I had gone in my adventures. So it was kind of more written journal style, and it kind of just tracked what I did each day. And then would put pictures there, because that's one of the easiest ways to share pictures, is to throw them on the blog site and people could look at them.
Right, right. So and why do you? So it was a public blog, though, right?
Yes.
Even though
yes.
Okay.
And now I have a real blog where I actually pay for a domain and all that stuff. So I upgraded.
So yeah. So what when you look at your it's kind of a business of blogging. I mean, it is kind of a business, and now it's probably more of a business than it was back then.
Yes.
Did you ever have any aspirations of growing this into a business where you would start teaching other people about what you're doing in travel, or relate? You have different products that you sell and things like that. Did you ever foresee that, or is it just something that evolved over time for you?
I kind of look at blogging as maybe my more retirement type job, because I love my engineering job, but at the same time it's kind of nice to share my travels with other people, because there's so many places to go and so many places to see. And if I can help somebody, say, oh, this looks like a cool place, then I want to do that. I want to help them get to where they want to go and explore, because there's just so much out there.
There is. And for travel, what is it doing for you as a person? What does it fulfill within you?
It's kind of just it makes you kind of feel complete with what's going on around you. There's just so much, like I said, there's so much out there. And I didn't have, in school you only learn so much about the country.
Right.
You learn about your home state a lot, but you don't really learn about, what's in other states, or about the battlefield sites or other historical sites. There's just so many of them that you don't really hear of.
Right, right. And you see them on the signs when you're passing.
Right, but then really, what are they?
So when you travel, you're mainly taking road trips, so you're not necessarily flying. You're literally driving.
Typically, we drive.
Okay.
Sometimes, if we go to California, obviously that's kind of far to drive from Michigan to California. So we'll fly in somewhere and then road trip from there, basically. We've flown into Phoenix and then put 2,000 miles in the rental car in a week. So to me, I count that a road trip.
Right.
Because we're driving.
Yeah, especially out west. I come from California, and everyth's far, so it's you have to, you put in thousands a week, yes. Practically. So I think you had mentioned that you've visited all 50 states and a significant number of the National Park Service sites. So talking about the 50 states, have they all, what time period did you do that in?
I would say
More
that
like lifetime?
as a kid, we didn't really go out of state too much. So really, my traveling out of state thing happened probably after college, actually.
After college? So did you make it like, was that like a goal of yours to like hit all 50 states?
At first it wasn't, but then at some point you just go to so many of them, it's like, how many more do I have to go? And then you kind of keep track. And then my sister said she's the one that wanted to go to all 50 states, and I just stole her idea.
Oh, I see. I see.
But she's still working on her 50 states, so I beat her
okay.
to it.
So so you've visited all 50, and did you do did you make trips
No.
that were certain
Well-
regional trips so you could hit a bunch of places, or how did you do it?
I mostly plan my trips based on the national park sites, actually.
Oh, okay.
So I'll look and see where there's a bunch of national parks and then kind of get a few states. Obviously, east side of the country is easier for multiple states on one trip versus
Right.
the west side because those states are so humongous. But a lot of trips are mostly dependent on just where I want to go to see, and then I don't necessarily try to, add another state into that trip. I'll just go on a different trip to get that state.
And so what is it about national parks that's attractive to you?
Again, they're a national park for a reason. So I want to find out what that reason is. It could be the beauty, it could be the history, it has some sort of significance to something. So I want to learn what the significance is and why it's so important.
Are you usually, when you visit a national park, are you staying at accommodations near there? I mean, is it really focused just on that experience of that park and then staying there for a couple of days and exploring it, or how do you usually approach the visit?
It really depends on how big the park is. We went to Big Bend earlier this year, which is in Texas, and we actually were able to get a spot at the lodge on the property, which is very rare, and it's booking a year in advance, which is similar to most national park sites. And I typically don't book my trips that far in advance, so I kind of just looked for cancellation and I found one. So that's actually one of the first times that I've stayed at the national park proper.
Where is Big Bend?
It's in West Texas.
In West Texas.
A couple hours from El Paso.
Oh, okay.
So it's kind of
I've
in the
actually
middle of
been to
nowhere.
El Paso. I was working down there on a client. So, oh, okay. Which direction from El Paso?
It would be southeast.
Southeast. Okay.
It's 8 hours from Austin. So it's kind of in
Okay.
between.
So, what is the countryside like there?
Lots of desert type
Oh,
scenery.
it's very deserty.
Yeah, there's
Okay.
not much greenery.
Oh, okay.
And it's right along the Mexico border, so the Rio Grande is
Oh,
right along
so
there.
you can see the river.
Yeah, and
Oh.
I mean, technically, if you wanted, you could probably cross, but I'm a rule follower, and I did not go.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, wow. Oh, that's interesting. I did not know that. And so, are these accommodations? Are they in the park? Do they have the accommodations in the park, or are they usually outside the park?
Some parks have them inside,
Okay.
but usually we stay outside just because it's so hard to get accommodations
Get
in the park,
accommodations, yeah.
or they're really expensive.
Yeah.
But there's demand, so they can charge what they want.
So what's it costing to get into a park nowadays? When I was a kid, it was like $10, but what is it now?
The park prices vary. Some parks are up to $40.
$40 a day?
No, it's for a week.
For a week pass. Okay.
But I buy the annual pass, which is usually $80 a year. There's other situations where you can get it for different prices, like fourth graders, they get the pass for free. If you have disabilities, you can get the pass for free. Seniors, citizens, they can buy the pass once and it's good for life. So there's different ways, but I typically buy the annual pass for $80 and then I can get into any park I want,
Oh, I see. Okay.
which is convenient.
Oh, yeah.
And it pretty much pays for itself.
How many national parks do we have?
There's 430 some parks right now. They keep adding new ones, so
Oh.
it makes traveling a little more difficult because if I already went to that area and they add a new one, I'm like, oh, I have to go back to Colorado now because they added a new site.
So a national park, though, to get that designation, do you know what they have to do? I mean, they have to, that land is owned by the federal government if it's a
Yes.
national park?
Yeah, but it's like the 433 is like all the national park units. So that's battlefields, lake shores, seashores. A national
Oh,
park
I
proper,
see.
there's 63
Of national parks that are just
national parks.
national parks. Okay, like Bryce and Zion.
Yes.
Or like my two favorites ever.
They Zion's one of my favorites as well.
So beautiful. It's truly stunning. Those places are just amazing. And you know what's great is that, you did all this travel like before we had, change in technology, so you can save pictures in a different way than back when I used to travel, where you were literally taking them, getting them developed, and they're aging over the years and disintegrating.
Yeah.
But oh my gosh, that is so neat. I love that idea. Do you pen and paper journal when you're traveling, or do you type up your notes when you travel, or do you do it when you get home? How do you approach this?
I mostly do it when I get home, and typically I just put it on the computer actually, because I can't read my own handwriting most of the time.
And you're an engineer? I find that hard to believe.
But then I do keep a scrapbook.
You do?
So then
cool.
I'll like type up like little anecdotes from the trip, like maybe how many miles we drove, or what the gas prices were, or like any little funny stories that happened.
Is it just you and your husband traveling?
Yes, and then sometimes we take my parents along, or my sister goes sometimes, or my husband's parents. It varies.
Oh my God, that's great. I love that. And so in your scrapbook, do you like paste things in there? Like, do they even have postcards anymore? I think
they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you buy postcards and put them in there? Or I remember when we were kids and we would travel, my sister used to like to take little sugar packs and like tape them into her, I don't know why, tape and the napkins from every restaurant and tape them into her scrapbook. This is what I remember of traveling as a child.
No, I had like actually if places have like the brochures, or else like you can get the book about like the state or whatever. I usually take pictures out of those and cut them out. That way I'm not using ink to print my own pictures out, and put those in my scrapbook.
Oh, okay.
Because those pictures won't fade. Like if I print something out, it could fade.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my gosh, it brings like so many good memories of a child. When we're traveling, because we traveled a lot, we camped a lot, so we're outdoors. So when you're traveling, are you always in accommodations, or do you sometimes camp? Like, do you ever like rough it?
We have a camper, which we take sometimes. But again, it's like sometimes you have to analyze, like cost-wise, is it worth taking the camper and paying the extra fuel cost?
Yeah.
And then campgrounds can be pretty expensive nowadays. Some places are like, $80 a night, which is a lot.
For a campground?
So
things have really changed since I was a kid, and you'd like remember when you used to put the couple dollars into the little slots for your campground site? Do you remember those? They were like these big boards, and they were like little boxes, like mailboxes. And like if you're going to be at campground 30 or number 33, you'd stick the money in there.
Now they just have envelopes, and you write down what site you're going to be on.
Oh, okay.
And then you put it in the big box thing.
Oh, okay.
But so really it varies. We usually end up staying in hotels.
But $80 a night is like, wow.
I know. Then at that point you're like, I think it's going to be cheaper to stay at a hotel and have the convenience of the hotel and not having to worry about setting up the camper all the time. And then it's also hard to camp, like take the camper if you're going to a bigger city, because let's face it, you can't go to Boston with a camper. It's not going to work.
I've not been in Boston, but I understand from folks that they take the bus in, they will not drive in that city. I don't know what the city's like that you wouldn't want to drive there, but is it bad? Is it crowded, or is it
crowded? Yeah,
okay.
And then there's not much parking available.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. I've not been to Boston, so no.
There's national park sites there, so I had to go.
Because of the historical sites.
Yeah, because they have like the Freedom Trail, I believe, is a walking trail that goes around to a bunch of sites.
Oh, I see.
And then there's some landscape architect house there, and then I think Kennedy has his house there. So there's quite a few sites in Boston, actually.
I see. Okay. You've already done those, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And they haven't added any new ones over there, so I don't have
probably
to go
no
back.
room to add anything. Oh my gosh. So with the stuff that you keep in your personal journals, do you like have a whole big collection of journals then?
Not really. Like I said, it's online, so it's mostly.
But I mean, do you have any physical?
My scrapbooks.
Your scrapbooks.
I have
but
a few
do you have a lot of scrapbooks then?
I have like 3 right now, I think.
3. Okay. Okay.
But I keep adding pages to them because I have the ones that expand.
Oh, you have those kind. Okay. Yeah, that's perfect. So when we talk about travel and planning travel, what's your approach to travel? Like, do you guys just like wing it, or do you plan everything out that you're going to do? What do you do as a family when you travel?
I typically plan everything out, and then
by the day. Like,
yes, by the hour almost.
Do you really? Okay, that's the engineering.
I might get a little out of control. No, but I usually like go to Google Maps and kind of see like what's around the area that I want to go to, and then I make a note of that place and make note of the address, and then I try to find out how long people usually spend at that place, because some places it's like a 30-minute visit, maybe some places are like a 3-hour. So that's kind of important when you're planning a trip, because you kind of have to allocate enough time for that park.
Yeah, yeah. It makes sure you can like get dinner at a reasonable hour and get back to the hotel. And
yeah, and you want to make sure that you're not stuck in the middle of nowhere with nothing around.
Right.
Come 8 o'clock at night. You want to be someplace close to accommodations.
You probably don't want to have, in some of these places, you do not want to be traveling with an electric vehicle.
No.
Yeah. Every time I think about electric vehicles, I always think about being stranded like in the middle of nowhere. Like, because when I grew up, there was a lot of open prairie in the United States. And when we would go camping, like there'd be nobody. Like you would never see a car for hours. Yeah. Okay, that's how it used to be
it
out
still
west.
happens sometimes.
And the thought of being like stranded there with an electric vehicle, like oh my god, like and nobody can help you.
No, that's
nobody can help you.
I'm like I don't know if I'm going to get on that train, because I'm like I don't know.
Yeah, that's not for me, because I'm just like I want somebody to be able to put fuel in my vehicle, especially because I've been out in the middle of nowhere where car problems when I was a kid, and like scary stuff. Like you want a vehicle somebody can help you with. Yeah. So you're planning everything out, and you know what the advantage you have nowadays is, like you said, like Google Maps and all these things. Like we didn't really know what was around when we'd go places. We just saw something that looked interesting on a map, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's all you had to go on, and then you really didn't know what was there, because there was no internet.
Right.
And you had to just you get there and you just kind of figure it out, or you talk to people.
Yeah, that's a great way to find new things.
It's just, yeah. I like your way better, because you can see more and you can cram more into a short amount of time.
Which again is good or bad, because you don't leave a lot of time for finding, random things on the side of the road.
And then it feels almost like you're trying to check boxes as opposed
to enjoying the experience. Yes.
Right. It feels more like a scavenger hunt.
Which I love.
Right. Yeah, you need like a printable scavenger hunt thing that you can sell on your site for like, check the box. You should do that for all the places that you've been. You can make like a scavenger hunt, like printable for people. Yeah. And sell like a collection of those. That was a business idea.
I've been trying to do bucket lists for each state.
Oh, are you? Oh, that's good.
So that's kind of like.
Oh, I like that. You could also kind of do that even for each park. Like,
yeah, for sure.
Go find this kind of flower, or find the visitor center. Grab one.
Talk to a ranger.
Talk to a ranger.
Yeah.
Check off the box.
Yeah.
I think that'd be fun for kids. Oh, I like that though.
It's fun for adults too.
Yeah. Yeah, really.
Maybe I'm just a kid at heart. I don't know.
Oh my gosh. When you're doing the planning and this and that, what's the challenge nowadays? Even though you have technology, are you finding any challenges when it comes to planning trips nowadays, even with all the technology? Is there anything that holds you up?
Not really, but I've been testing ChatGPT for trip planning.
Oh, have you? How does that work out?
Not the best.
Really?
I wouldn't rely on it solely.
What do you think is the issue with it?
So I had to do a trip from like Detroit to Grand Rapids, and then it was like, and I think I had to like go up to like Traverse City, and like it was not putting things in the order I would want to visit them. Like it would have me go to Grand Rapids and then come back to Lansing and then go to Traverse City. It's like I wanted like more of a loop, and it wasn't really putting things in order the way I'd want, or else like it even suggested like places that like didn't exist.
Really?
Like maybe
so it's hallucinating with the trip.
Like maybe the place was there at one point, but it's not now.
Wow, that could be interesting. So like uncovering hidden things that you never knew about a place.
Yeah, so
that's kind of interesting because it's such a scannable thing for them to for it to scan every single thing. That's fascinating.
But yes, I wouldn't rely on it fully at this time.
Wow, that's odd too when you think about it, because it really is something that's so tangible.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's fascinating.
Yeah. Like I said, I have not had perfect success with it yet. It's good. It's a great way to find ideas, though. Say I want to go here to there. Tell me stops along the way. So it does work good for giving you ideas. But again, you're gonna have to check and make sure everything is, what you want to do and that it's still there, or maybe the address is wrong or the hours. So you have to check. So it's definitely not like a done for you type thing.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. I would never have thought that. I don't know, maybe a different model. Maybe check in Gemini, maybe check in...
I don't know. I had the paid version of ChatGPT in it. So.
You had the paid version and you're still getting bad data? Wow.
It's not fully Correct.
Okay, well, let's talk budget. So when you are planning trips, do you have like a budget that you're working towards, or do you just wing it? What do you do personally, and also what are your suggestions for people that travel in terms of budgeting?
I mostly wing it. Obviously, I know I don't go for the most expensive hotels or
Right.
and stuff like that. But then we also bring a lot of our own food. And
Me too, because
we
I
bring-
can't eat a lot of that stuff that's on the
Yeah, it's
road.
not healthy for you.
Yeah, I can't eat it.
And then water for sure. So we always have a reusable water bottle, and then we usually bring like a 2.5 gallon insulated water jug with us, so we can refill our water bottles, and then add a bag of ice, then you're good for your water for a couple more days. Or else if you need to buy a gallon of water, you buy a gallon of water, which is definitely cheaper than buying the small little
Oh, I
bottles at
know.
the gas station.
Yeah, I always have a gallon of water in the car if I travel.
Yeah,
Because
it's very important.
I just like to know where my water's coming from.
And plus, you never know if you're going to break down. You might want some water with you.
Exactly, exactly. And I bring my own food as much as I can, just because I like to eat while I'm driving. Probably not the safest, and I like to just eat my own food.
Yeah, it's more comfortable.
Yeah, and it's fast. Like
Yeah.
you don't have to stop anywhere. Like,
And another tip for that is go to the grocery store to buy snack stuff. Like when you're traveling, instead of going like to a restaurant for lunch, go to the grocery store because they usually have sandwiches or a deli.
yeah,
Which it's going to
yeah.
be cheaper than going to a restaurant.
Oh yeah, and I've even like on trips, just because they package food differently, they have tuna fish in packages. You can just rip it open and eat it out of it. I mean, like everything's so much more convenient now. Like it's great, and it's so much cheaper. It's so much cheaper.
for sure.
So if you had to give advice to somebody who is planning a trip, a road trip in particular, what would you tell them when it comes to budgeting? What's your advice on budgeting?
I mean, kind of know what you want to spend in advance. Another way to save money when you're traveling is to, find things that are low cost, like the national parks. If you're more,
Get that passport thing.
yeah, definitely saves you some cash, especially if you're going to a lot of parks. Some parks are free, so I mean, you could plan your trips based on just going to the free parks that would be available as well. The state parks are relatively free. Michigan charges. Places like Ohio, you can just go to the park. There's no cost. Metro parks in Ohio are free also. So
In Michigan, do we have a state park passport?
you get that on your license plate.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
I think it's like $13 for the year.
Okay.
But the metro parks here, they charge like $30 or $40, I think, for the year. But other states don't. So you can always check what other states have. Like I said, Ohio's
Are those?
free.
But these are state parks, so these are owned by the state of Michigan or that state, and then we have national parks on top of that.
Those are federal, yes.
Okay. Okay. Got to get back with the program, Tara. I haven't traveled in so long, to anything like that. Everything's been kind of business related, so I forget what's even out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And then also, if you're looking for more local stuff to do, the library has a program that has free passes to different locations also, or low cost.
Oh, they
options.
do?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Like
Just-
for different museums in the area.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yep. You can just go to your library and check out the pass.
Oh, okay. And you just and then you bring it back? It's kind of like a return thing?
I don't think it's
Or
that
it's
way
just-
anymore. I think it's just
okay.
like if you get a little thing to go to the location.
Oh, okay. I'll have to find out. I know another thing, I wanted to ask you about, so we have budgeting, we talked about food. Are there any other recommendations that you would make specifically to people who live in the state of Michigan who are traveling? Is there anything in particular about Michigan that is different than any other state, or that you would give as a suggestion of things to, be aware of if you're traveling in Michigan?
Michigan's pretty easygoing for traveling, I would say. But I would encourage people to take a travel trip during like the winter months, because like going to the UP is totally different in the winter.
That's when I went, and it was not fun in February, in going across that bridge, which is scary. How long is that bridge? Is it a mile?
No, it's like 2 miles, I think.
It's 2 miles? That is just...
I love the bridge. I love going over the one that has the grate, so it's like because you can go in the inside lane or the outside lane. And I like the inside lane because that's where the grate's at. No, but it's really fun. Like there's ice caves up in the UP that are really
there
cool.
really?
Yeah. And then even if you don't want to go over the bridge, there's still really cool things under the bridge. Like there's dog sled races. That's a fun experience.
Really? I did not know that.
And then there's the big dog sled race in the UP. So there's just all sorts of things.
Do you
in the
go to
winter.
the UP like annually?
Not every year. We try to go do a winter trip up north every year.
Wow.
because it's so different. It's not busy.
Right.
And the
'cause,
scenery's
like,
totally
it's
different.
another place you wouldn't want to use an electric vehicle because they drain like crazy in cold weather. Wow, like that would be so scary. I remember getting stuck in the snow
Oh no.
in that February trip. It was really scary to me. Stuck in the snow because the person I was with wanted to go off the road, and then we couldn't get because
Back
it was
on the road.
yeah, couldn't get back on the road. We eventually did, but it was just
Yeah, so you had a bad experience.
I had a bad experience and did not want to ever do that again. So yeah, I know one of the things that you mentioned is that one of your goals is to visit all the state capitol buildings. What does that interest come from, or does that just go along with visiting every state?
It kind of goes along with every state, but at the same time, the Capitol buildings are so unique. You're not going to find other buildings like that, typically. And it's just like each building is got so many different characteristics.
How many of those have you seen?
I've been
visited?
to the outsides of probably about 45 of them,
45. Wow.
and then the inside for maybe like 15 of them.
Taking tours?
Yeah, not
Yeah.
all of them have tours.
Oh, okay.
But like even like we did the North Dakota Capitol building, which is like a skyscraper.
Is it really?
Yeah, and it's really ugly on the outside, but inside it's kind of cool. So you never know
I'll
what
have to look that up.
what to expect.
North Dakota, huh?
Yeah,
Okay. What was the most interesting capital that you visited?
it might be the North Dakota one,
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
just because it's like not at all what you expect. Because usually you expect like fancy art and like all this columns.
So
and
no columns with that one? It's literally like a
skyscraper.
building?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Interesting. Have you been to the one in Denver?
The outside, not the inside.
Okay.
Because we went to the step that has the mile-high step. I believe they have that.
So, okay, so you've done to that one. What about California? I know that's pretty far from here. Have you done a lot of travel in California into the
Yes.
parks? Okay.
Yeah, we've done a lot.
lot.
We're going there later this month, actually. And
Oh, really?
The goal was to get the rest of my California national park sites done.
Mm-hmm.
But we're going to Kings Canyon and Sequoia, and then we're going to, there's a screenwriter's house that we're going to go to, and then I had another park to go to, but they canceled my tour. So now I'm going to have to go back to California another time to get that one.
Oh, wow.
Because it's on a military base, and they're going to be active at that time, so they had to cancel the tour.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Eventually, I'll get there.
So you go to the Sequoia National Park, and that's the one with the big trees?
Yes.
And you can, like,
Drive
through the tree?
I don't know if you're really supposed to drive through the tree, but yeah.
Yeah, I assume not. but at one point they were.
Right.
So like, oh, that's going to be magnificent. Oh, wow. I mean, I grew up in California and I never even saw that while I was there. I grew up in Southern California. That's going to be a tremendous trip.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
That's fantastic. So how do you arrange everything at work? So you like split your vacation time between different times of the year so that you can get away and see things? Okay.
Yeah, we try to incorporate holiday weekends into it, so then you
Make it a little
gain
longer.
a day, basically.
Yeah.
And then we don't typically travel in the summertime that much.
Really? Okay. So I was thinking that you would be doing a lot of travel then.
No, because the summer is usually like peak season.
Yeah.
And if you want to save some money, you go in the shoulder season, which is like,
Oh.
a little bit before, a little bit after the peak season.
Okay.
And we've had really good luck for the most part. with
So
the
you're
two
like
kind of trips.
you're doing a lot of your regular work during the summer season, so you're not traveling. Oh,
Right.
that's interesting. Yeah, that's usually the only time I have off. So, okay. Interesting. So that's why you're, going to the UP in the winter and things like that. So you've obviously traveled to so many incredible places. What are one or two that stand out for you, and why were they so special to you?
I really like Zion National Park, just because
Yeah.
it's like, it's one of the busiest parks, but it's like at the same time you can feel this like calmness, and you're surrounded by all this beauty. It's kind of like, it just centers you kind of. I don't know, it's just like really peaceful. I love it there. And then I would probably say Alaska, because that was my 50th state.
Oh, wow. You've been to Alaska. Denali then?
We did a cruise.
Oh, you did a cruise. Wow.
So we did some of the port stuff.
Oh,
And
neat.
then we saw like the glacier, which was cool.
Oh my gosh, that's fantastic. So sometimes you're not driving, you're definitely doing something else. Okay, well, we've come to the end of our time. I didn't realize how fast the time is going by, but I would love to ask you, like, what's your one piece of advice to entrepreneurs? If you could share one piece.
I would say make travel a priority. There's never going to be the perfect time to travel. Things always come up. So, just take a weekend away, and it'll refresh your mind and maybe spark some new ideas that you can use for your business. And then travel requires patience, it requires, flexibility and resilience, all things that are important to make you a better entrepreneur.
Well said, well said. I want to thank you so much, Teresa, for being a guest on today's program, and I want to wish you the very best in your future travels.
Yes, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
It's been fun.
If you'd like more information about our program, please visit us at www.michiganentrepreneurtv.com. Please join me again in the future when I interview another enterprising entrepreneur. Until then, wishing you the best of business.